Oh, these technical problems. One second, what's going on? Let's fix this up. Go. All right. What's going on? Sorry, just fixing some stuff. More technical difficulties today. All right, we'll get started in 1 second. I just got, it took me forever to set this up because I'm having issues with OBS again. Not wanting me to set up, or not wanting to allow me to set up my stream correctly. All right. But I'll let some people hop in here. Yeah. Interesting. This doesn't want to load either. Ay, ay, ay. Can never be easy. Like, what is going on with Windy? Come on, fix your website. It's completely broken. What if this has to do with updated graphics driver? Interesting. Nice, Allie. Any severe weather coming up southwestern Indiana? Not in the immediate future. Dude, yeah, I had so many technical difficulties trying to get on site. I've been trying to get on stream for 30 minutes. Oh, God. I had a really good stretch there for a few days. No technical difficulties. Hopped on my computer. And boom, everything worked. And it's like, I don't know. Not this time. But whatever, we're on. We're going to do a quick one. I wanted to stream for an hour, 2 hours, but it's getting late now at this point. It took me so long to get on. I'm having issues with my vertical setup on TikTok again, so I don't know. I still don't know if it's an OBS issue or what, but it's an issue. It's an issue that I thought has been resolved multiple times, and it keeps popping up. But we got some important stuff to talk about, so we'll get to it now. Let me check my cameras. I never use this one. All right. Yeah, here's our potential tropical cyclone in the Caribbean. We've got a 90% chance of this to become a tropical cyclone within the next 48 hours. This could be a tropical depression or a tropical storm in the morning, for being honest. We could get another one forming down here, southwest. Both are gonna threaten the southeastern coast. You know, newer models think this could move off into the northeast, although we could get one down here that wants to head towards Florida. So something to keep an eye on down here. I'm gonna let a few more people get in, and then we're gonna go over everything. I don't know what is going on with Windy. Why is this thing just not working? What is going on with this website? Windy is bugging tonight. Man. It is bugging. There we go. Okay. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about. NOAA has released their official winter forecast. Y'all. Or winter outlook, I should say. Here it is. They think if you're in this area, you're going to have an above average winter. Now, the light, more this area. More this area. I disagree with their outlook. Now, sometimes NOAA gets it right. Sometimes NOAA gets it way wrong. I can show you plenty of examples where NOAA got their seasonal temperature outlook for. Actually, this one's February, March, April. This is similar to what their one actually looks like, though. I'll show you. Let's see. Let me get back to it. Here you go. There it is. Yeah, a little warmer. A little warmer. So this is December, January, February. This is the one we want. Sorry. Okay. I tend to disagree with this. NOAA has gotten their seasonal temperature outlook extremely wrong a few times. Sometimes they get it right. Their track record isn't fantastic when it comes to a seasonal outlook. I think I would expect below average temperatures in this region this winter. I think all this, them saying this is above average this winter, I can't fully get on board with. Also, I would bring this heat up here. You know what I mean? Like this, I don't fully, I would do more of like this. That, you want to show, here, I'll tell you what I think would be above average. More like this. With below average, my below average would be a lot more towards the center of the country here, like this. But you know, we'll see. Their precipitation forecast I can generally get on board with. I expect good, except for I actually think there'll be more here because I think they're not accounting for how much. Well, actually, their temperature-wise, I think it's going to be warmer here, so that's why they don't see as much lake effect snow. But I think above average precipitation, I would stretch out towards here. I would bring down to here. I would actually do above average precipitation, like right in there, and then I'd probably bring it in like right through here. So I disagree with their seasonal precipitation outlook a little bit, but you know, and cold, but you know, this is what they think. NTX and Jasmine, what's going on? You can look at some other years where they got it really, really wrong, but some years where they were dead on. But they don't have a great track record of being correct most of the time when it comes to the winter, specifically seasonal temperature outlook. It's tough to predict, though. What's going on, everyone? Toledo, Ohio's had trash winters. You'll probably have a good winter. I think Toledo, Ohio this winter, if you like snow and cold, I think you'll have a good one. Now, look, moving on a little bit further, December, January. Here. They have, well, we were just looking at it, actually, I think. Where is it? I believe this is a little bit out further. So we can look at, let's look at November, December, January. Okay. November, December, January. We're thinking National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration is thinking kind of normal temperatures up here. Really, none of this is too hot. They do think specifically, though, this region is going to be a little bit warmer through November, December, January. It's the 3-month average, remember. You could have one of the months much colder. When you look at this, you could have December be freezing, or well below average, but if November and January aren't, that's the average. Seasonal precipitation outlook. You could see why they think we might have a good start to winter up here with average temperatures and above average precipitation November, December, January. Upper Midwest, potentially Michigan, Wisconsin region, and then Northern Rockies and Pacific Northwest could have some good snow early on in the season. Taking a look, going down. Now we saw December, January, February, March. Look at that. They expect those cool temperatures to drop a little bit. Now look, we don't know if this is going to be right. Like I said, they don't get, a lot of times this isn't perfect. I actually think it's going to be colder than they're projecting here, farther south, farther east. So, but you can see what happens here, January, February, March. This is a signal, at least from NOAA, that for some late season snow through the Ohio Valley here. You can see that pushing all the way down through Arkansas, Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and Alabama there. So, January, February, March is still very much wintertime. So a little bit more love and equal chances of warm and cold. So who knows? NOAA thinks it's going to be probably a better winter for this region. If you're looking for some snowstorms, second half of winter than the first, and a better for snow and cold. This region earlier on in winter. That's the basis of what they're seeing here. I see things differently, and we're going to look at that. How's everyone doing? I'm going to go over all the kind of breaking weather stuff that's going on, including the fact that we're probably going to have a tropical cyclone in the Caribbean when we wake up tomorrow. At least by the time we go to bed tomorrow. What all the ensembles are showing, what all the possibilities are with the track. We're going to talk about winter updates, cold, major storm system for Halloween. Major storm system wants to settle into the states for Halloween across portions of the plains or potential Ohio Valley. We need to talk about that. Major strong bowling ball trough that wants to break off of our polar jet. So that's going to be interesting to talk about. I'll show you that really quickly here. Take a look at this. This is an 18Z of the GFS. I think that these models are crazy that they think we're going to have this storm system come in here and then just spin, stall out, and then move off. I think that's wrong. I think you can see what the GFS has happening here in the Central Plains as we get into next Monday. Like blizzard type conditions, heavy snow at least through portions of the Dakotas, eastern Colorado, western Nebraska, western Kansas, and then the GFS has this system moving off to the east. This would also be Dixie Alley severe outbreak potential. By the way, we're gonna get into all the details. I just at least want to show you what's happening right now. This would potentially be major severe outbreak through this region, Dixie Alley. And then they have this system kind of stalling out, creating this kind of bowling ball trough where you have your main polar jet to the north, and then you get this kind of stalled out trough, upper level low here, spinning, not moving anywhere, which doesn't make sense with the weather patterns going on around it. I guess the only reason it makes sense is they expect this high pressure blocking here, and blocking up to the north, but I don't know. I don't see it happening like that, but we'll see. And then this severe weather would potentially move off to the east. You can see here, this would potentially be, we're talking about, let's look at Halloween night. This is potentially severe weather. A lot of severe weather for the East Coast Halloween. This is far enough out there that things are going to change, so don't pay attention too much to exactly where it's putting everything. And then you can see way at the end of the run, the GFS actually sees snow. falling through portions of, and again, end of the run. Don't pay attention too much to it, but we're going to look at the trends. The GFS actually sees snow potentially through this region. We're talking Wisconsin, Minneapolis, we'll see. Nebraska. So we'll see about this as well. That'd be early season snow. That'd be around, that'd be the first week of November. European sees it happen a little bit different. The 0-0-Z tonight's going to be really important because I think that bowling ball trough isn't going to stall out, and I think it's going to bring, I think it could bring snow into Michigan, portions of Wisconsin, Minnesota, but we'll see. Here we go. The Euro also sees this snow potential for the Dakotas and Nebraska here as we get into next week. You can see here some snow potential. And again, it has this upper level low, or this big trough look just stalling out right here. Look at it just spinning. Now, here's something very interesting. Anyone notice what's happening out here along the East Coast on the Europeans version of this? We've got a big low pressure system here, and we got a low pressure system here. What happens with these steering currents if this happens? No, hurricanes aren't done. Hurricane season is still 5-6 weeks away from ending. And when we're gonna have a new tropical cyclone in the Caribbean probably tomorrow. Elijah, I'll get to you in a second. What happens when we get two low pressure systems next to each other? They influence each other. If we did get the European to play out like this, what the hell is? Excuse my French. This I'm about to unsubscribe to Wendy. What can you freaking load a simple 6-hour loop, Wendy, please? Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Come on. I've just had issues with technology all day. That's why I'm on stream late. Here we go. Low pressure. We might see our low pressure system onshore try to pull this system into the coast here, which could cause all sorts of issues for portions of the mid-Atlantic and New England. It's far enough out, we don't know. But that's the European. You know, if these get too close to each other, there's going to be an interesting interaction. These two low pressures. So that's something to watch out for. Quickly, snow-wise, what's our updated snow maps? Let's see. What's the trend? 46 day. That's where the European thinks we're going to have snow within the next 46 days. 32 days. Okay, interesting. Let's see. GFS. There's a GFS over the next month where it thinks we're going to get a little bit of snowfall. So, interesting to look at. Anyways, talked about the tropics, talked about that. Okay, I'll get into some questions here. I actually just want to... Oh, yeah, last thing I wanted to show you. I knew I was missing something. Last thing I wanted to show you is our European ensembles, because we've got... we're about to have another tropical cyclone on our hands down in the Caribbean. Here's what the Euro's thinking. Check this out. Okay. The Euro thinks we're... this isn't even the same system. The Euro thinks we could get two systems. Let me actually go back to the 12Z here. Check this out. Okay. This is what we're paying attention to. Because this clearly... I just updated my... Maybe it's because I updated my graphics driver, why everything is just not working on my computer right now. Maybe that's what it is, chat. This... yeah, like nothing is working on my computer. My pen isn't even working here. What the heck? What is going on? 1 second. Why is nothing working? Give me a second. Everything's running really slow. Can you guys hear me? Okay. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 nor'easters this season. What is going on? Why is everything running so slow? Everything is lagging on my computer. It shouldn't be. Let me see something real quick. I don't know what is going on. Okay. Anyways, this is obviously a reason we want to keep our eye on Florida. The European throws a ton of members towards it. Let's take a look at the latest GFS ensembles here. GFS as well get some members out there towards Florida as well, right here. So good news is most of them still keep it away from Florida, but Oh my god, what is happening? But something to watch out for there. Yeah, my computer's like bugging out right now for no reason. I can promise you it's not my it's not my system itself. I think I updated my graphics cards today, and I just feel like whatever update was, whatever it did to my computer doesn't like. I probably should have restart my computer after I updated my graphics card. That's probably what's causing it to act up right now. All right, whatever. I'll have to live with it. Claire, what is popping, Claire? What is going on? Okay, let's take some questions. Give Florida a hurricane. Hey, it's possible. You can see what's going on there. Yeah. I think this is something interesting to look at right here. Okay, because, yeah, the other thing I wanted to show. Crap. I'm so scatterbrained because my technology isn't working. 500 millibar height anomaly. You want to see? This is a GEFS. We don't want that. Let's just go into GFS for now since we have the 18C. Let's do upper air heights 500. There we go. This right here is a sign of a lot of storminess to come. Here's our blocking. Here's our blocking we've been waiting for up there in Greenland. The East Coast is about to experience, and the central southern plains and East Coast is about to experience a lot of cold air in the beginning of November. This is one of the main reasons. Looks like we're going to have an active storm track. Pushing here, a lot of lows, a lot of low heights coming out of Russia, down in around Alaska. And we're going to have an active storm track, I think, and some cool air, and active cool air down into the east here with this setup, especially with the blocking, major blocking we have up here over Greenland. I mean, you can see our first storm system here, right? Moving in down into the east, blocking up to the northeast. This is one of the reasons they see this bowling ball trough I keep talking about stalling out down here, bringing lots of cold air down to the central southern plains and then out east. That moves out, but then we still have blocking up in Greenland. So that moves out, but I expect that we're going to have another low pressure system move into the east and replace that. And we're going to have some more cold air again. I think first couple of weeks in November could end up being pretty cold for the east. And then we've got some more storm systems behind this. And check out, remember how I said eventually our polar jet was going to lock in? Well, here we go. You see that pattern right there? That's that cold air down to the central plains and then out east potentially that we're going to have locked in. Like, nothing is working. Oh my gosh. I wish you guys could see my screens on my end. They're all bugging out. I really should have reset my computer. What's going on for Jamaica? I wish I could tell you. I would say pay attention because tropical cyclone definitely could threaten Jamaica in the next few days. Where's the beat? What's going on? I didn't get my next training video edited and posted, but I already recorded the next part of the training video, so I just need to edit it and post it. I have videos to edit every day. Work's been a lot too. I can't believe it's been a year. Wait, Lila, have you been following this channel for a year? Yeah. I need a vacation. All right, anyone have any questions here? I posted a video today, but we're still seeing very cold trends. Look at this. Very cold trends. Take a look at our a lot of these higher heights setting up around Greenland and the Arctic for November. This is a signal towards lots of cold air out east and in the plains. So is this. And then maybe, so is this, if I'm being honest. If we take a look at our temperature monthly outlook and we go back down into the States, here's the CFS. Here's our November outlook from the CFS temperature wise. For the most part, decent amount of cold air across the States through this region. Obviously the south, southeast maybe left out a little bit. Getting into December, seeing big cold for much of the States as well. And then getting in, December and January, it looks to be very cold as well. I mean, this is why, I don't know. Noah likes more of a, below average setup just in this region. I don't know. I think we're going to get a lot of cold down to the Ohio Valley this year, potentially even the Southern Plains and out definitely towards New England. Canadian did really good last year predicting this stuff. It doesn't like the cold down as aggressively throughout winter, but it does think November could get pretty chilly for a lot of people here out in this region. So it does include the plains down there in the southeast Ohio Valley, at least portions of the southeast. And then again, it really likes, this is more of a strong La Nina look, typically, where you'd have this warm, above average temperatures a little bit farther to the north. I agree with the Canadian here. I would just take probably the average to cold air a little bit farther south like this. It's a tiny bit farther south. But we're still seeing a pretty consistent trend now, which is what we like to see. Teleconnection wise, Arctic oscillation. This is a pretty good look at a negative AO. So pretty good drop down to -2 of a negative AO as we get into the beginning of November. Again, Halloween, early November. I think it's going to be cold for a lot of people through portions of the plains and out east. We're going to have a little bit more cold air sticking around out west for a while though right now. I don't know what this is. This is the sharpest PNA drop I've ever seen in my life. That looks like an error. But this again is just a signal towards this is the ensemble, which I like to see much more than the European deterministic. But this is a signal towards very, very cold first week in November for people out here. The portions, I would say, of the upper Midwest plains and then out east. Maybe even the southeast as well. Cold start to November with the negative AO and a big positive Pacific North American oscillation. Because remember what this means, a PNA, positive PNA. It's if you were to just look at a map here, what we're talking about when we're looking at that teleconnection is they expect higher heights, in Pacific North America. Okay, so Pacific North America. All right. So what happens when you have higher heights out here? Well, that's ridging here. That's a ridge. And what's to the east of a ridge? Typically a trough. So just think about it like that. So you see those massive heights out here, right? We could have a big ridge out here with the big positive PNA like that. And that allows all of that cold air to sink in to the plains and the east on the opposite side of that ridge. And what we're looking at right here isn't just a deterministic model. This is the ensemble. So this is 50 different members averaged out together. Actually, I don't think they average 50 members out for the teleconnection, but it's a good amount of members averaged out, confirming large, and this is even a lighter average, but this is the mean below it. This is the control. This is the mean. But that does point towards a very cold start to November. So that's validating because I've been saying this for a while and I'm waiting for it to happen. Although I said second week in November, it's going to be earlier than maybe even I think, after I saw things adjusting. So, you take a look at the big picture here, and if I were to pull into our actual jet stream, 500 millibar jet stream moving forward and go back to North America. Let's go to our 12Z. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Near the end of the run, what they're seeing is ridging, positive PNA. You've got these high heights out west. There it is, cold air sinking down into the plains and out east. I expect our jet stream to set up somewhat like this, probably a little bit farther out to the west through November and at least the beginning of December, where we get this kind of active storm track through this region here. I think Pacific Northwest could have a good start to the season. I think it's going to have a bad middle and end to the season, snow and cold wise. Northern Rockies, Northern Plains, Upper Midwest, Ohio Valley, Inner New England, I think is going to have a good start here, November, December, with some potential snow. And it does look like at least for November, I think we could get some cold temperatures down here through the southeast as well. Potentially even the southern plains, eastern southern plains there. XCap, what's going on? Any new update at 11 p.m. for Invest 98L? We can let's take a look here. 1,007 millibars. We can see all these different plots. Again, though, I think we're actually going to have another system forming out down here that could end up threatening the states. What's happening? It's just processing. The package is. It wasn't processing. I explained it in my last live. For the people who won the merch, the order's done. It's sent. The order's processed now. I moved from Philly to Minnesota, or from Pennsylvania to Minnesota, and when I did, I had to update. I had to move my business address. I had to get a business address here, business mailing address, and then I had to update all my billing information and make all these changes to my website because there's different taxes, obviously from state to state. And so when I originally was sending the merch for you guys, I got all sorts of errors from saying that I had to update billing my business address and update all the billing information and get my, which I already had, my business what's it called, business tax ID in Minnesota, which I already had, but it's all handled. So it's just going to be a little bit later than I thought, but it's all handled. The order's already in. Severe weather for East Tennessee. Again, you know, we were looking at this earlier. We're watching out here. There's going to be some sort of major storm here around Halloween. We could get this big bowling ball trough here moving into the central U.S., bringing all sorts of snow to the Central Plains, and then severe weather to Dixie Alley. This could be happening 27th, 28th, and then as we move into Halloween, that this system, at least in the GFS, wants to move out to the east. I mean, we could have severe weather, who knows, in Tennessee for Halloween, or a little bit farther out east. I want to wait a few more days. I like getting at least within 7 days. 5 days, definitely. 3 days is great. But 10 days out, we're going to see things change. I don't think we're going to see this big stall out of this trough here. Let me show you it. Let me show you an easier way to look at this so you can see how weird this is. Okay, here we go. Here's how when we get to the 27th, 28th. So it looks like we're getting this major dip in our polar jet, right? This major dip in our polar jet. But what's going to happen is this low is going to break off and become its own storm system here, and our polar jet's going to reconnect to the north. Watch here. Here we go. It's going to disconnect. There we go. Spin, and then look what happens to our polar jet up north. There's our main jet stream. Now, this is still going to have cold air that gets pulled off with it, likely. That's what happens with these bowling ball troughs. Lots of cloud moisture. It's a low pressure. It's going to be cold. So it wants to bring snow on the back end of this, and then we could get some nice shear up through Dixie Alley. So we could get some snow in the plains while we're getting some severe weather out to the east. And this is right around Halloween. This is on the 30th that we're looking at. But what happens is, you know, if you watch this, it has it stalling. Look, just spinning, and then eventually getting taken out. I don't think we're going to see this big. Actually, the 12Z, or here, the 18Z. Let's go to the 18Z. Here we go. You see how the 18Z has it just spinning, stopping and spinning. See that? I don't think we're going to get this. I think what's going to happen is this is actually going to be carried out to the east a little bit quicker. And if that does happen, I think we could get a little bit more snow up through this region here. Minnesota, North Dakota, portions of northern Nebraska. But again, too hard to tell right now. This is the 28th, 29th, 30th. We need a few more days to assess how this is going to look like. Clearly, models want a little bit of a high pressure ridge building out to the east that's going to stop this system, and they want our polar jet just to ride right above it. So this is just going to spin out here. If this were to happen, by the way, it'd be a ton of rainfall for the plains and Ohio Valley, which is good for the drought, but we'd probably have a few days of severe weather here with a little bit of snow on the back end, like I said. The end of October is going to be crazy. There's all sorts of crazy things going on here. We're talking about, we're watching the tropics down here. We're watching potential one or two tropical cyclones trying to take a little bit of a close pass at the east coast of the U.S. And then we're obviously watching a big storm system here. And then we're watching probably a transition into a cold start for a lot of you out here for the beginning of November. So it's going to be quite an interesting little few days there. Yep, my winter weather prediction is posted, and have a line of things I need to edit. The next thing I'm editing is because I want to get it up within the next couple of days is my hodograph training on a sounding, because I want to get to climatology. I got to get that done, and then I'm going to put up my new winter forecast. Now that NOAA has theirs out, I can use that in my video and compare it. I never got to ask you, why did we not get a nor'easter in October? Isn't that, or why did we get a nor'easter? It's kind of rare, but you know, we did enter a La Nina, you know, so we had an early La Nina looking kind of jet stream dive and link up with this low pressure that was moving up the coast. Still rare, you know, it's still rare. it just I don't really know. I have a great way of explaining why that happened in October. You typically don't see them until you're in the dead of winter when you get these very, variable jet streams. It's fluctuating polar jet. But we just had our jet dive down enough. Our subtropical jet really weakened up. And again, we had that warm NPO. North Pacific waters were very warm. So we kind of had an enhanced jet stream that dipped down at the right time. It's all about timing to pick up that low pressure and move it up the coast, which is technically what you call a nor'easter there, because you have your main jet stream enhancing a low pressure system moving up the coast there out east. Halloween night says 38 rain, central New Jersey. You guys want to just look for fun and see what our temperatures look like Halloween night right now? They're probably going to change up a little bit, but we can take a quick look. And we'll take a look at the 18Z. We'll take a look at feels like temperatures here. Halloween night. We'll start. I don't know if anyone here is in the west, but we'll start out west. We'll look at apparent temperatures Halloween. At least what the the GFS is showing right now. A little far out, but so it looks cold for the plains and out west. Southwest looks nice and warm, nice and toasty. Moving out to central US, what are we thinking Halloween night right now? Pretty cold. Let's take a look at anomalies. So this would be the 00Z for Halloween. A lot of below average temperatures down here. Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, Oklahoma, Nebraska, Arkansas, Louisiana. Everywhere up here. Missouri, Iowa. And then as we move through, a lot of this cold air sticks around through portions of the plains and moves into the southeast, you can see here. So it does look like a cold start to November for a lot of people out here. We'll have to see. This again is associated with this big trough. They think that's going to stall out here. I don't know. We're going to have to see. I'm not fully convinced of that stalling. And I actually think even if it doesn't stall, we could get more cold air in behind this. So we'll have to see. But if we're taking a look, again, Halloween night. If we push out east, I guess we would go to the 00Z. 06Z November 1st. There you go. Doesn't really look like it's going to be hot for many people. We see people, everyone out here 60. It was a hot Halloween, I remember last year in Philly. I was in Philly last year and we were in the high 70s Halloween night. So this is a pretty comfortable Halloween night based on what the latest GFS says. But we still have time to see this adjust, obviously. But this would be a comfortable Halloween night for everyone and a cold one for some. But I don't see any major heat for anyone this Halloween, obviously, except for you got Florida down there. But I don't see it being too bad. Should we expect any severe weather later this week? Like I said, later this week, I don't think so. Well, let's take a look at our 850 millibart. Let's see if we have any crazy jet streaks popping off this week. I don't see anything really here. This is the first sign of maybe a little bit of severe weather. Again, it's early next week as we get into next week, Monday. I don't really see any severe weather threat until next Monday, when we could get a potential kind of tornado alley threat. That doesn't look too ominous just yet. This to me could be a nice Dixie Alley setup for we could say a severe outbreak potentially. This is directly, look at this. These winds are completely southerly, right up through Dixie Alley and up through Ohio Valley and what do they call it? What's our alley up there? You got Tornado Alley, Dixie Alley, Carolina Alley, and what's this one called again? Someone help me. Hoosier Alley. Hoosier Alley. Right at the Hoosier Alley. So that could be a setup for severe weather, definitely. But I think that's next week. I'm not too worried about this week. Yeah, thanks, Mason. Damn, bro, streams are boring this time of year. Hey, if it's boring to you, then you can go into a different stream. Not much going on tonight, but there's going to be a lot going on in a few days. Well, I would say I would say things get a little interesting this weekend because we'll know what's going to happen with our tropical cyclone down in the Caribbean. Then we'll probably know what's going to happen with this system here. This system's going to bring snow and severe weather. So this is going to have a lot of people watching. Just because I think it's going to affect so many people. So I'm like I said, I don't know if this is going to be stalling out or if it's going to move straight through. But I think this like multiple day stall out in the center of the country is wrong. I don't see that happening. So I'm intrigued to see what happens, at least over the next 72 hours, as these model runs come in and adapt or adjust. We haven't had a winter here in Chicago in over a decade. Well, that's a lie. You guys had monumental amount of snow in the late, I think, in some of the years between 2015 to 2020. You guys had some major snow years. I would say in the last 5 years it's been a little slower in Chicago, but not the last 10. Between 2015 and 2020, or 2015 2021, you guys had some big snow years in Chicago. Thanks, Brody. Will Ohio get snow this Halloween? Honestly, someone I think is going to get snow this Halloween because of this system here. I don't know who, because again, I don't trust where the models are taking this system and how they're handling it. So I'm not going to tell you who's going to get it, but someone's going to get snow, I think, on Halloween because of this system. Obviously, it's more likely to be farther to the north. You also have the GFS bringing in a nice amount of snow potential up here as we get into the first week of November too. So we'll have to watch that system as well down the line. It's farther out though, so things are going to change. My local news. Danny, I appreciate the 20 roses. Appreciate you, Dalton. Just watch your NOAA video, hoping it's somewhat accurate for above average precipitation. Yeah, guys, we were talking about this. Oh yeah, that's our tropical system down there. I don't think we have any new updates yet. But we were talking about NOAA's winter outlook. By the way, if you missed that, they released their official winter outlook. We can go December, January, February. This isn't it. One second. All right, they keep moving this on me. Here you go. So this is December, January, February. Again, I don't fully agree with this. If you watch my winter video, I think it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to upload a new winter outlook as well, or winter forecast as well. But I do kind of agree with this above average precipitation. Again, I'd bring above average precipitation a little bit farther to the south and a little bit farther to the east like that. I guess I can pretty much get on board with this. That's fine. Because I think the Ohio Valley is going to have I think the Ohio Valley could see some good snow this year. I do think we're going to get 1 or 2 nor'easters out here that could help finally break your snow averages along the mid-Atlantic and coastal New England as well. I know it's been quite a while. But you guys have to remember, this is... Oh, what's this? Oh, should we watch this? Should we see what our NOAA meteorologist has to say, guys? Let's check it out. Let's check it out.
In and
wow, this is a long video. Okay, I'm just going to skip to the best parts, okay?
Today's media briefing.
Agriculture industry.
They really should have pulled
energy
me on this.
Providers.
Why didn't no one call me and tell me we were doing this?
Transportation interests.
Oh wait, this is 2024, 2025.
Markets. No two winners.
Why is this posted here? Why on the 20? Oh, this is 24. Oh my god, guys, I'm an idiot. Here you go. Well, it's the same thing. Am I crazy? It's the same exact thing. That's why I just got confused. Am I going crazy, or is that not the same exact thing? Okay, here you go. Yeah, they brought it a little bit more down to the Ohio Valley. It's pretty much the same thing. And they have above average precip. This is February, March, April, though. We don't want that. This is February, March, April. So it's pretty much the same thing, except for they do actually have above average precipitation through this region. And they have it a little bit more down in the Ohio Valley. But see, this is the thing. Their seasonal precipitation and seasonal temperature outlook looks almost identical to 2024 and 2025. Their 2024-2025 was pretty wrong, though. So, but I mean, everything I just told you is relevant because it's pretty much the same. Expecting below average temperatures up here through upper Midwest, Northern Rockies, Northern Plains, Pacific Northwest. I think we could be a little bit more mild up here, but I think we could be a little bit more mild up here. And then precipitation-wise, this actually makes, I like the way this looks a lot better. The only thing I'd add is I'd stretch this precipitation up the coast here, especially with lake effect snow. That I think is going to be a little bit more enhanced this year. So, but I'm glad. Okay, good. Yeah, I'm glad they have this here. I do think the Ohio Valley is going to see above average precipitation. I think the Ohio Valley could have one or two decent snowstorms this year, not just clippers. Have they released their 25-26 video? I don't think so. No lake effects now? Yeah, Bryce was trying to tell me. I know. Well, it's because when you Google NOAA winter outlook, every time I Google it, it's putting these links in a different location. So I'm used to clicking one to go to it. There's 2025, 2026. Yeah, this is 24, 25. There we go. Again, for those of you who don't know, that this is typically what a La Nina does. This is just a good representation here, a good visual representation. Cold water along the equatorial Pacific, your jet stream moves to the north. Typically takes some sort of pattern like this. Sometimes it's a little bit farther to the south, and then you have a colder Pacific Northwest. Sometimes it's a little bit farther off to the east like this, and then you get most of that cold air being focused down into the Great Lake region, upper Midwest and Northern Plains. But typically your storms are going to ride along your jet stream here, which is why you see wetter conditions here, and then we're dry in the south. So that's, I mean, and you can see where they put their cold air and their warm, colder and warmer air, and where they put their precipitation and dry air. They're just following a pretty average. I don't think they're taking any chances. That's the problem. I don't think NOAA's taking any chances. They're just like, what's a typical La Nina do? And then they just copy and paste it. That's what they did last year. Last year, they thought we'd be in a weak La Nina, and we didn't end up entering a weak La Nina. We stayed in an ENSO neutral all winter, which is why when you look at their 24-25 winter outlook, it looks very similar to our 25-26 winter outlook. So I don't know. NOAA takes no chances on their winter outlooks. They don't try to get interesting. They're just like copy and paste from analogs. You know, I don't know. Seems a little like lazy. It seems a little bit like a lazy outlook every year. You know what I mean? Below average. If we're in an El Nino, they're going to be like, oh, it might be a little bit below average down here and wet, and a little bit drier and warmer up here. Like, I mean, come on. You got a lot of meteorologists who work for NOAA. I'm sure we can get a more detailed outlook. Yeah, James. James, it's because I originally recorded it and then re-recorded it, and I realized that, but it doesn't matter because, like I said, the 24, 25, and 26, 24, 25, 25, 26 winter outlooks from NOAA are pretty identical. The only thing they really do is put a little bit more precipitation here and then down here, and I mean, temperature-wise, they're pretty similar as well. If we take a look, let's take a look here. 24, 25. Oh, that's not it. See, now when I'm trying to look for 24, 25, I can't find it. This is probably it right here. Yeah, you can see cold temperature wise. I mean, this is almost identical. Not identical. Let's see. No, it takes no chances. It's a little bit different on the precipitation, though. See here. A little bit different, but not really. I mean, the South and Southeast are almost identical. Great Lake region, Pacific Northwest. The only difference here is they fill in a little bit more rainfall. Above average precipitation in this region is really the only difference, and a little bit more down to the south here with their 25-26. So. People have weather-related questions. Yeah. Yeah, always the Enzo. I know they play it safe. I know. If you go, there's never an interesting outlook from NOAA. There's never. It's literally copy and paste like a weak, moderate, and strong La Nina or weak, moderate, strong El Nino analogs. So. Yeah, it looked really plain when I saw it. Yeah. I mean, come on, have some fun, Noah. Like, take a risk. I mean, like, so for instance, so for me, you know, one of the risks I'm taking is just based on it's really off of SST anomalies, sea surface temperature anomalies. I do think we're going to be a little bit, I think we could have a good start to winter, snow, cold-wise out here in the Pacific Northwest, but I think overall we could end up being more of a mild year. That's not typical weak La Nina, but there's some things that point towards that for me. The other thing is with our subpolar North Atlantic SST being so cold, we should actually get an update on that. That's gonna help us set up probably a longer lasting NAO. That's typically what it does. It enhances our polar jet and gives us more blocking over Greenland. That's a good sign. That increases your chances for nor'easters by, I think, a significant amount. So that's why I do have above average. I think we're gonna get slightly above average snowfall out here because I expect 1 or 2 nor'easters. Like NOAA can do this stuff. NOAA can take a look at some things. With their meteorologists know a lot more about sea surface temperature anomalies and MJO cycles than I do. Like the MJO cycle also could push through here in January and make things really interesting for this region. So I don't know. I don't know why NOAA just copy and paste their La Nina and El Nino analogs every single year. But what was the winter 2020-2021 with the massive nor'easter El Nino warmer than average? 2020-2021. Was there big? I don't think there was a big nor'easter that year, was there? 1 second. Oh my God, where's my maps? Well, we can look back here and see what we were in the 2020-2021 winter. We were in. Let's see. We were in an Enzo neutral. No, we weren't. Sorry. We were in a moderate La Nina. I can actually let me move over to that. Sorry. Yeah. That was a moderate La Nina. We'll be in a weak La Nina this year. We already are in a weak La Nina. Oh, October. Oh no, this is October 9th. Okay. Yeah, I mean we're gonna be stuck in a La Nina here. This is. Yeah, we were. So I don't remember. I don't remember that 2020, 2021. February 2021, the South experienced devastating weather. I'm in Central Texas. Oh, well, yeah, I know about that. That was a big Texas freeze. Yeah, but we're talking about nor'easter. That didn't turn into a nor'easter in 2021, did it? That was a moderate La Nina. Weak La Ninas can be much colder for Texas than a moderate La Nina, by the way. Moderate La Ninas are usually pretty warm for Texas. So that was an interesting year. Major nor'easter 2021. Ground haunting nor'easter, possible severe erratic nor'easter that impacted much of the Northeast. But how much can I from heavy snowfall blizzard conditions? Where did that snowfall fall though? Was that a true nor'easter? Interesting. I didn't realize that was in 2021. My weather encyclopedia brain let me down. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, did it bring much snow? I mean, I guess it brought a lot more snowfall for New England. Why is it showing me this radar loop here? All right. There was one December 2020. Yeah, listen, La Niñas give you the chance for these major... La Niñas give you a better chance of polar vortex breaks. We all hear the scary, or some people like it, the fun term, polar vortex. Bro, you know, when everyone clickbaits, like, I mean, polar vortex is a thing, but these big polar vortex breaks that, you know, plummet Arctic air down to the south, you have a much better chance of having those during a La Nina season, and that's because you have a much more variable jet stream. You get higher ridges and deeper troughs, and those high ridges can force a lot of, you know, above average air up into the Arctic, which can slow that low pressure system, which can slow those Arctic winds that kind of hold in that cold air around the Arctic in the troposphere and in the stratosphere. So these large ridges you get in La Nina years really slow the polar vortex down. And when the polar vortex slows, it wobbles. And when it wobbles, it just drops air that should not be this far south down into the States. So La Nina years are typically when you see... It doesn't mean it's going to be a colder winter overall, though I think it usually is, especially in a weak La Nina. But that's you'll have a better chance of seeing record cold in a La Nina than in an El Nino. Where I am in central New Jersey, got 40 to 50 inches of snow. What? What, for the year? Oh, that 2020, 2021. I mean, yeah, nothing has happened in along the Mid-Atlantic since then, huh? Jersey's been suffering, so is Philly. Do I think Max Velocity and Ryan Holiday are pretty accurate forecasters? I mean, I think they know what they're talking about. Yeah, I've, you know, forecasting is difficult. It's very rare for them to post anything that I disagree with. There's some times where I'm like, a little but for the most part, no. I think they know what they're talking about. It'd be very obvious if they didn't know what they were talking about. It's hard to sit on camera and talk in front of hundreds and thousands of people during big events if you don't know what you're talking about, and to post videos and every day. And they clearly know what they're talking about. It's I think everyone has a different way of forecasting, though, and a different way of looking at things. You know, not every forecaster is the same. Everyone interprets things in different ways. Yeah, Max just got his degree. I think, a few months ago. Yeah, I went to school for meteorology. I went to Florida State for meteorology. Actually, was pretty close to getting my degree, and I ended up leaving. There's personal stuff that happened in my life. I ended up leaving, and you know, I've wanted to go back and finish it. Wouldn't take me too long, but it's a decent amount of money I'd have to put back in, and I'm already paying lots of debts. So it's something that I'm just waiting a little bit for. But it would be nice to finish it because I started it, and I got pretty far through. So one of these days, and I got 2 little kids right now too, so and a full-time, well, kind of 2 full-time jobs. So I don't exactly have any time at all. I don't even have time to go to the gym, let alone time to go back to school for a little bit. So the winter 2020, 2021 was back-to-back snowstorms. For some reason, I thought that was 1920. I don't know. I was still living in the South back then. Will Ohio get snow this Halloween to mid-November? I think Ohio could get snow definitely in early to mid-November. Again, it's supposed to be. I think Ohio is going to have a little bit more of a brutal winter up front. So a little more cold and snow chances November, December than you usually would. Yeah, what's this free time you speak of? I don't have any free time. Sometimes I have to ask myself if I have time to breathe. What about Canada, Southwestern Ontario? La Ninas are very cold and wintry for Canada typically. So, especially, I would say La Nina, you especially expect central to eastern Canada to have a good year. Yeah, I will finish it, Jazzy. Yeah, it's all about timing. I do have my uncle's actually a meteorologist. He's a meteorologist out in New York. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Sometimes I randomly have mental breakdowns and tell B, and she's like, "No, it's you're okay." Appreciate you, Tanya. Do you think we'll get snow in Las Vegas since we had a much cooler summer and fall? Listen, I'm just gonna be honest with you. Weak La Niñas in general are not generous to the Southwest. This is the area that suffers the most under heat and mild conditions. With a weak La Nina, doesn't mean you couldn't get snow though. Listen, we were in Enzo neutral last year, like I said, and we had a foot of snowfall along the Gulf. That wasn't supposed to happen. So, you know, it's not a perfect science. What do you think Kansas City, Missouri? What do I think about Kansas City, Missouri for snow? Kansas City, this is what I'd say this is what we call a winter battleground zone right in here. Especially with where I think the Jets stream's going to try to set up. This is going to be a winter battleground zone, meaning we're going to have, I think, a few storms that pass through here where there's going to be a ton of snow on the north side and a ton of rain on the south side, and where that split occurs, this is the battleground zone. It's all the storm tracks are going to be really important through there. Whereas again, I don't think it's going to be much of a battleground zone up here. I think, especially in the La Nina year, you're going to have some pretty solid snow through here, especially even actually down a little bit farther south, maybe into Kentucky for a lot of these. Whereas some other years you get a lot of ice storms through here. Yeah, you know, we were very close to being in a weak La Nina last year. So, and again, I can see why why the winter outlook is so similar. But I do think there's differences this year. Like I said, we have a much colder subpolar North Atlantic, and we have a warmer NPO. Those are two things that are different from last year. So I do think we'll have a more amplified jet stream. It'll be colder overall than last year. We'll have that cold air pushing a little bit farther down, and I think we'll have a more active storm track. Especially, I think we're gonna get a lot of Alberta clippers, a lot of clippers running through this region here with snow. Yeah, snow over ice 1,000% of the time. Guys, I cannot wait to do God, I miss doing live. I miss doing live snow coverage, winter coverage. It's so much fun. I'll be doing my long streams when we have big snowstorms moving through for sure. For sure. Somewhere so much cooler than usual in Texas, but it hasn't cooled down. It was 91 today. Yeah. Well, the global temperature's at a 3-year low. It's like, it's only 3 years, but hey. And again, I mean, we could take a look at up the Arctic again. Our ice is doing really good. You guys know I like looking at my ice and snow. Our ice coverage is really good. Our ice and snow coverage is really good. It's above, it's ahead of pace. So this is going to help with that cold transfer down to the south. I did want to actually look at this again because we were seeing some crazy things here, actually. Let's take a look at our stratosphere again. What were we looking at this on? Was it our European ensemble? Or was it our... Was it our deterministic? Yeah, I mean, look at this. Look at our stratosphere. Look at what's still being projected over the Arctic. I want you guys to know, if you see a lot of warm air built up here, with all the talk of polar vortex, the polar vortex, this is what causes your polar vortex breaks. Look at this. I know I say it every stream, but this is such a signal for some major wobbles in our polar vortex in November and December. I have this gut feeling we're going to get snow somewhere much farther south than we typically do in November or the beginning of December. Like something weird, like snow down in freaking Arkansas or Tennessee in November to early December. I don't know where, but if you get the right wobble with the freaking stratosphere this warm, you're gonna get cold air displacement much farther south than it should be early winter. This is another reason, again, they're saying they think that the U.S. in general is going to see a much colder start to winter. And then second half of January, February, March, maybe we'll see an above average end to winter, but a much colder start to winter. So, yeah, this is interesting. Let's go back to the global reanalyzer as well to see what's going on with our subpolar North Atlantic, because I've been watching that closely. Look at that overall sea surface temperatures. What year was this? 2023. So this is 23. This is 24. And look where we are now. Look at our global sea surface temperatures. So it's not just global air, but it's also global sea surface temperatures. Here's our North Atlantic. This isn't our subpolar, but this is our North Atlantic. This is like a 5-year low here. Still above average, but we're talking about trend. Look at this. Subpolar North Atlantic. Here's where we are now. Here's where we were same time last year. I mean, that's pretty major. We're at like a 10-year or 20-year. We're at a 20-year average. So again, this is gonna a lot of coldness going on that we're not used to seeing. Except for when you look at the Gulf of Mexico, I guess Gulf of America, whatever you want to call it. But again, if you want snow, you'd want the Gulf to be very warm, because that's where all the, especially for a nor'easter type setup, this is where all of your moisture is getting pulled off of. So you're okay with a warm Gulf if you want snow. You'd want a warm Gulf if you want snow, although it's actually a little bit colder than it's been the last few years. That's about on pace with last year. Nino 3.4, there it is. Clearly not La Nina-esque. There's our average. Clearly La Nina-esque. Let's look at our, can we look at our daily surface air temperatures? Yeah, still down here below 23 and 24. You can see for the most part, we've been at a 3-year low all year. We've been trending down. Northern Hemisphere. Northern Hemisphere is actually a decent amount colder than I thought. If we look at same time last year, we would be here. So clearly there's a cold pattern. And let's look in our Arctic. Our Arctic is actually getting very warm right now, but what did I just talk about? Look at our Arctic. We're at an all-time warmth, or at least 20-year warmth. What did we just talk about? What happens when the Arctic gets really warm over around this time of year, especially with the La Nina? Your stratospheric vortex gets disrupted. So I'm telling you guys, Noah's not being aggressive enough with its cold air. That's all I want you to get out of all of this. Noah is not being aggressive enough with its cold air. That's the 24-25. We don't need to look at that. That's the summary here. Northeastern Central Jersey are heartbreakers. Happen once in a while. Yeah, they used to happen once every year, once every 2 years. We've been on a little bit of a drought. That'll change, though. Appreciate you, Tanya. Any chance snow reaches Dallas-Fort Worth in November? I don't think there's any chance. Well, is there a chance? Yes. I think it's very small. But again, I think anything's possible when you see, if we see this trend continue of our stratosphere just getting super, super warm over the Arctic. It's not impossible to get snow into Dallas-Fort Worth. I'd say probably end of November, but yeah, this does weird things. This puts cold air in places it really shouldn't be at all. Early in the winter season, or late in the fall season. Is Louisville looking good for snow? You're looking good for above average precipitation in winter, and you have much a better snow chance. That's when you get your snow in winter. So if I'm in Louisville and I'm being predicted to have above average temperatures and or above average precipitation, December, January, and February, yeah, I'd say that's not a bad outlook for snow. I'd say it's a pretty decent outlook for snow. First snow prediction for the Mid-Atlantic, December 16th. We haven't had a good snow before Christmas in a while in the Mid-Atlantic. I think that could break this year. I don't think it's going to break as early as you guys think, because we do have this warm Gulf Stream really makes it difficult to get snow when you're right along the coast there in the Mid-Atlantic. So, but I'd say if we're talking about like a good 6-inch plus snow, I think we could literally get that mid-December. Could it happen earlier? Of course it could happen earlier. But your water temperatures out here really regulate your surface temperatures there a lot. My first snow prediction for the Ohio Valley, a third or fourth week in November. I don't think we're that far away from it. Maybe less than a month. I think it'll be an early start. I do. Boone, North Carolina. Boone is another area that is what we would call a battleground zone. This region out here during La Niñas, where you might get a lot of snow falling on the north side of this and all rain on the south side, with the storm track that wants to track like this through that region. So it's tough. Boone's a tough area. It's a really hard area to call whether, I think you would typically expect average to slightly below average snow. It's in southern Appalachia during a weak La Nina year. Well, yeah, it's tough to call. That's a tough area to call. It's all going to be on the storm tracks. If you do get a nice nor'easter, that can pull in snow sometimes very far inland here. So I do expect a big nor'easter that actually could affect Appalachia or the Appalachian mountain range from south to the north. Could drop a lot of snow if we get one of those. What's your snow prediction for Topeka, Kansas? This again is a battleground zone out here for winter. So, if we're talking, when we're talking about a jet stream that wants to kind of hold a pattern like this, you're typically going to see a lot of people talk about these areas being a big question mark. These areas being a big question mark on snow. Whereas if we were in an El Nino, right, and you have your subpolar or subtropical jet stream, I'd say you have a lot better chance at snow through this region. I'd be actually much more confident in it. Yeah, Kansas is another tough call. Yeah, sorry, here. Let me just show you here. Wait. We'll look at our 46-day expected snowfall from the Euro, since it's always something interesting to look at where it wants to be aggressive with snowfall. Take it with a grain of salt. A large one. Any predictions for the 25-26 ski season in the Collingwood, Ontario, Canada, I almost said Canada area? Listen, Canada does really well with cold and snow typically in a La Nina. Much better than it does in an El Nino. So, I would expect specifically this region of Canada to see a pretty good year. And I expect this area of Canada, well, you can already see, I expect them to have a pretty good next couple month and a half before we may see some warm air returning, or a nice ridge P&A setting up there mid to late winter. I'd say mid, not late winter, because I expect some ridging out east late winter. I'm a winter weather guy, so tuning in for the first time since last winter. Welcome back. Minnesota is very high confidence, 80-90% chance we're going to see well below average temperatures this winter. I'm still up in the air. I live in Minnesota. I'm still up in the air on snowfall. I'm still predicting average snowfall for Minnesota, not above average, not below average, because I think we're going to have an active storm track through Minnesota. The issue is we're going to be so cold that can affect your snow totals. You can get cold core highs set up like they get in Siberia, where you're so cold for so long that your air becomes too dry. So the only reason I think we might not get above average snow in like Minneapolis this year is because we could see some pretty cold temperatures that prevent. But again, this is an outlook, so don't take everything I'm saying and say, okay, that's take it to the bank. I think it's not a perfect science. So, things change. I'm gonna obviously release another updated winter forecast video here in a little bit, and I'll address some of those changes. When you say Mid-Atlantic, is New Jersey included in that? Yeah. Yeah, New Jersey is in the Mid-Atlantic. New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland. East Virginia. Southeastern PA. This is Mid-Atlantic out here. Texas 2021 again. I don't even know if we want to put that type of voodoo out there. This is what where the European thinks we could have snowfall. Our snowfall totals could be over the next 46 days. Again, this is never going to be accurate. It just shows you how aggressive the European wants to be with snow and cold air through the beginning or through the end of fall. It does like inner New England a lot. It does like the upper Midwest a lot. Obviously, it likes the Rockies, but the Rockies are always going to get big snow. It's just an elevation thing. I think the most interesting thing about this is this area and potentially this area. How aggressive they are with snow in those areas this early in the season. I mean, no, it does think there's a chance for snow in Kentucky, but I wouldn't. Yeah. Odds are low. Not impossible. We can look at the 32-day expectations from the Euro for snow. Then you can look at GFS expectations. We go into GFS extended. There you go. There's GFS ensemble. You know how bad Nebraska could potentially get this winter? Eastern Nebraska, I would say that the region where most people live in Nebraska is going to experience a pretty cold winter. Because I think Western Nebraska could end up pretty average and warm. I think Omaha Omaha and the surrounding regions there could have a pretty cold winter. I'd say average to slightly below average snow, but cooler than normal conditions. I think you guys could hit your averages in Eastern Nebraska. Yeah, La Nina last year didn't materialize. Got very close. It just wasn't cool enough for long enough. Got very close. Does the winter's outlook for Long Island specifically look better for snow than last year? I do think it does. I think it does. I think it does because we have a much better setup for a sustained negative NAO like I talked about. And when you get a negative NAO, instead of having this cold air that rushes through and then rushes out, you get cold air that sinks and then it lingers. And when it lingers, you have more opportunity for storm systems to move up during that time frame and with it bring snow to the Mid-Atlantic and New England coast. So yeah, I would have to say, based on Gulf temperatures and subpolar North Atlantic temperatures, that gives you a little bit of a step up for Long Island, snow and winter wise, snow and cold air wise, than you had last year. Okay, guys, I am going to be back on tomorrow. I got to get off. West Virginia. West Virginia could have a decent year. Yeah, West Virginia could have decent snow this winter. I will be back on tomorrow streaming, hopefully at 9 o'clock and not 9:45. I had technical difficulties. Shocker, I know. Shocker. OBS. Blame OBS. But I'll be back on tomorrow. If you guys want to join the Discord, Connor's Climate Corner HQ, as always, just add me on Discord, Connor's Climate Corner HQ. You can become a part of the Climate Crew. All of the weather updates you need are in there. All of them. Anything you can think of. They're all in there. And you'll be able to see my schedule and everything when I'm getting on stream and all that good stuff in there. I'm extremely excited for winter. I love winter forecasting. But we are going to have to watch, by the way. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves because we might have a tropical storm in the Caribbean tomorrow. We might actually have another one out here within the next 4 to 5 days as well. So let's watch the southeast a little bit longer. I do think we're going to have a lot of sinking air in the Atlantic after this, though. So I think our hurricane season could have an early end. The other thing we're watching, as I said earlier, Halloween. Global models are pointing towards a large storm system, bowling ball type trough storm system, bringing potentially severe outbreak through portions of the Ohio Valley or out east, Dixie Alley, and then maybe some snow for the Central Plains. Very interesting setup for Halloween. Halloween can be very, very messy for someone in the plains out east. And then that's when we actually expect a little bit of a pattern flip into colder conditions. Very interesting thing is happening here at the end of the GFS run. It's the end, though, so don't worry about it too much. It's going to change a little bit, but snow wanting to push down through this region here at the end of the GFS run as well, which would be early November. We'll talk about all that tomorrow. We're going to get some updates. Yep, Connor's Climate Corner HQ. Just add me on Discord. I'll add you to the Climate Crew, and you can check it out. I appreciate all you mods. You're the best. And I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Yeah, Leanne, go to bed. Hey, congratulations. Go to bed. Oh my God, I forgot about that. All right, see you guys.